Hi friends, it's Becky, and I'm going to be opening up the dollar bead box for June 2025. This is a monthly bead subscription. It's one of the more frugal bead subscriptions out there. It's less than $20 a month for a box full of check glass beads, sometimes a focal, sometimes we'll get some 2-hole beads. It's a bit of a mystery sometimes, but I love mysteries and surprises. It's always very beautifully curated to go together, and I also subscribe to their add-on subscription. It's $8 a month for 8 strands of check glass fire polish beads that are curated to go with this. So it gives me a full palette to be able to create with every month. I like to organize them into these 28 grid organizers because this is usually a wide variety of beads that you get to a pretty wide selection of them that you get to play around with, and sometimes they're in smaller amounts and that sort of thing. And so this type of organizer works really great for me to be able to keep the beads all together and be able to see what I'm creating with and also access it easily. So let me get this set up so that I can start putting stuff in it. I will be opening up the subscription, showing you each of the beads, and then getting them organized into the organizer during this video. But I love my little dollar bead box subscription, so I'm really happy to see what we've got. Ooh, pinks and greens and some like cranberry colors. This is going to be interesting. Let's see what the theme is. I'm just going to make sure that I've got, they usually give a little coupon code for subscribers to use, and so I'm just making sure that that coupon code is below the fold on this page. And it looks like this coupon code is for 2-hole beads, actually 10% off. They already have really discounted prices in addition to the dollar bead box. Their retail site is called Dollar Bead Club, and you do have to be a subscriber to either the dollar bead box or purchase a membership for it in order to make a purchase, but like everything's $1 or less. And so this would be a really fun time to grab some 2-hole beads from their site if you are a subscriber. So fresh picked colors for a lovely start to summer. So this month's box is inspired by the simple beauty of June, blooming petals, ripe berries, and lush green leaves. We've gathered a mix of pinks, reds, and greens to spark your creativity and celebrate the season's charm. Yeah, berries and things. Usually I find berries and things happen about the later part of the summer, or at least the middle part, at least when I would go up in the mountains. But you've got some great greens and pinks together. This is going to be really fun to create with. And I've got some of my favorite little bead shapes in here. Look at these tulip beads. Ooh, we've got some strands. These are teeny tiny beads. How cool are those? But yeah, so we've got some stranded selections, and these are all the dollar bead box beads, and these are the dollar bead bag beads. Oh, how cool is this focal? These are gonna be fun. And then we've got like some, this is a toggle clasp with a key heart. Woo, and some beaded chain. How cool. I'm into it. You know, I was a little bit worried at first with this glance that it might be a little more Christmassy, like red and green, but like all the pinks in there too really are just making it much more verdant and floral, like a garden. So what I like to do is go through the bead bag, and then we'll go through our strands, and then we'll go through the bagged selections. So let's get these strands over here. Let's make sure my bag selections aren't sliding off. It looks like we've got another cabochon. This one has faceting on it. I did do a tutorial with a cabochon for last month's box because we got some of those, but it looks like this one might be a little bit different than cabochon because it's got a rounder back on the back. That might be fun to do, maybe wire wrapping instead of bead weaving, to get a little bit of that going. So let's pull out our stranded selections here in the Fire Polish bag. This is the dollar bead bag. You get 4 selections of 4mm fire polish beads and 4 selections of 3mm fire polish beads, and some of them will be the same, like these two, and some of them will be totally different. And it's just a really fun way to have some extra beads to play with, some extra things to add pops of color to your designs. All right, so the first one, we've got either pink opal or raspberry copper. Hold on. I think this is the raspberry copper because you've got the copper shiny bits on there. This is the 3mm fire polish. And look at that sparkle. That's super pretty. One of the things that I find a little bit easier for me to do when I'm doing these is to go ahead and unstring it onto my bead mat and then use my bead scoop to get it into my organizer. Some days I'm great at unstringing right into my organizer, and some days I'm not. And I feel like today is a day that I would like to just not even worry about how I'm doing this. All right, next we've got some crystal vitriol or green purple. This is crystal vitriol. When you've got an or on these lists, by the way, that just means that you may get a different strand of beads in your subscription than I got. I just didn't have enough for everybody to get the one. I really like the crystal vitriol type of fire polish beads. It is one of my favorites. So sparkly. It's so like actual Aurora Borealis. Northern Lights. Then we've got garnet or matte garnet, and it looks like I've got the matte versions both in my 3mm fire polish and my 4mm fire polish. So we get a little less sparkle with the matte finish, but it's such a lovely deep red color, this raspberry color. It is a very raspberry color. Y'all ever been out in the mountains and found big patches of wild raspberries that are just perfectly ripe? There's just nothing as magical as that, I think. Just have this smell of pine trees and then the taste of raspberries, the wind blowing through the trees. It's just fantastic. All right, then we've got matte watermelon. I love these beads, friends. They are so pretty. Kind of wish I had them in 4mm too, but you know what? I am happy with all of these other colors, so I don't know what I would give up in place of this one. Right. So that's the 3mm fire polish beads. Now let's put away our 4mm fire polish beads. We've got either pink opal or rose gold. So this looks like the pink opal. It's a very, very light, might be rose gold. Rosy color with a gold splash. and then garnet or matte garnet. This is just like the 3mm fire polish strand that I had, except it is 4mm. And these are full-size strands of these fire polish beads that you get in this subscription. Right, now we've got apple green. That's this one right here. It's an opaque, almost lime green, but not quite as limey as you'd think it was. This will make a great color pop in a design, I think. A really fun color pop. Maybe next to some bright pinks. And then some matte light peridot. This is a really minty color. It's just dreamy. All right, now I'm going to look at our stranded selections from the box. We do have some fire polish beads here. These are different sizes of fire polish beads. Some bicones, some crystal pearls. Again, we've got our strand there, and then this really long strand of very, very teeny tiny beads. They're so small. I love them. We've got our list on the other side of our packing list. All right, so the first are some 5mm fire polish beads. These are light green AB, and there's a 25-piece strand. You can see that AB finish on that. Let me grab the 4mm. It's the same color, but again, it's a little bit smaller, and there's 50 pieces on this strand. So let's get the first strand in its section. Oop. This is what I mean by sometimes it's easier just to put it on the bead mat and then scoop it up. So I'm going to do that with this one. It helps if the scoop side is up. Pro tip. There we go. All right, then we've got some beaded chain. This is green mix or coral mix. So I got the green mix. That's possible that you might have gotten a different mix on your beaded chain, and maybe the coral mix. And for this, it's just going to be some of these check glass beads that have been turned into some links and put together. I love this. It is just about the perfect length for a bracelet. So this would make a great, maybe a multi-strand bracelet with this as one of the strands and some of the other beads as one of the other strands. Let's make sure we fit in here. There we go. That'll work. Then we've got either Kelly Green or Lemon Seafoam Lucerna bicones. And I feel like this is lemon seafoam. So we've got some lemony bits and we've got some seafoamy bits, and we've got a mix in between on a lot of these other bicones. That's pretty cool, actually. I like that. I like when there's some dimensionality to the bead colors. I mean, a lot of times you might want consistency, but I really do like having a little bit of variety in here. Okay, next set of, looks like we've got 2 more stranded selections, and then we can move on to bagged selections. All right, these check glass pearls are Celadon color. There's 40 pieces and they are 4 millimeters in size. It's just a really pretty pastel-y green. I don't know if I'm going to take this off of this strand or if I'm going to leave it on, because sometimes I find it easier with tiny, tiny beads to leave it on the strand. We'll have to see how well it fits in here, but first let's take a look at it. This is dyed jade, and it's either ruby colored dyed jade or jade colored dyed jade. It is a 14-inch strand. I don't know how many pieces are in that 14 inches, but it's a lot because these are 2 millimeters in size. In fact, let's just scooch in a little bit closer there because they are so tiny. That is just such a pretty, pretty pink. I love that pink. All right, let's get the whole strand in here. If I can't get the strand to fold up nicely in here or coil up nicely, I may just go ahead and get it, the strand opened. I'm gonna snip that extra bit of silk though. There we go. Now it fits very nicely in there. All right, let's look at our bagged selection. Check glass rose, that's that. This one right here. All right, it is a soft lavender color with looks like a gold wash on it. There's 1 piece and it is 18 millimeters in size. Let's look at one side right there. And then another side. I think we're going to be just getting a little bit closer to a lot of these. Next we've got check glass faceted half drilled cabochon. Oh, it's half drilled. That's interesting. Let me find that. This is speckled green. And it is 17 millimeters, so it says it's half drilled. Oh, it's half drilled from the back. I wonder if this might have been so you could make a button with it or something. So, you know, add a little loop in there on that back side. Or maybe attach an earring post to it. Look at that faceting. I'm just giving a little wiggle with that light so that it catches on some of those facets. But yeah, here's the back of it. And it is from the side profile. So it's not completely flat on the back like a lot of cabochons are. It is a little bit bulged out there. That's very pretty though. I wonder if maybe wire wrapping would be a good idea for that one. Okay, next we've got check glass tulips. Where are my tulips at? There they are. These are 16 by 12 millimeters. They're matte crystal with a burgundy wash. And there are 4 of them in here. They're going to be the same on each side. I love these large tulip beads. They're just so whimsical in my mind. Oh, I need a new organizer grid. There we go. A new row of boxes. There we go. And next we've got some Czech glass sugar skull beads. I do love sugar skull beads. These are green with a bronze wash or green with a pink wash, depending on which one you get. And it looks like I've got the bronze wash on mine, because that does not look pink. I do love these. They are pretty fun. They've got a hole from the top of the head down to the chin. And then we've got a Czech glass large hole Celtic block. That's these guys here. There are 3 of them. And there's either light sage or dusty rose. And so I am looking at these. It looks like I got the dusty rose ones. The light sage would be a light green color. So you may have some of these green ones instead of these pink ones. I do love really fun Czech glass beads like that. Just adore different shapes of beads, different sizes of beads. Cool little things where the wash can settle into. They're lots of fun. And then we've got Czech glass button beads. That's these guys right here. I always think of them a little bit like brain beads, but these ones are peach colored. There are 2 of them, and they are 14 millimeters in size. Just gonna turn that over a little bit so you can see. All right, let's keep going. Next, we've got some Czech glass acid etched Drook. I think that's this one right here. No. These are the ones, yes. This is a different type of Drook. And it's also the wrong size. These are the 8 millimeter ones. There are 4 of them. So they are this matte finish. And this reminds me of some candies that I used to enjoy back in the day. Don't eat the beads. Just don't eat the beads, friends. And then we've got a heart and key charm set. That's these guys right here. They're an antique copper color, and it's 18 millimeters. And sometimes, especially with really cute toggles, is it a toggle? It might be a toggle. Let's see, would it work as a toggle? Will that go through? Maybe if it was, no, it might be a tough toggle to use, but it might not be so tough if we did like a lariat style necklace or something using these. So I might have some plans to use those. Let's see if I do it or not. We'll find out. Then Czech glass faceted rondelles. That's these guys here. They are 6 by 8 millimeter, and this is Ruby AB. There are 6 of these guys. And I'm just gonna wiggle this so that we can get a little bit of sparkle in our life with these gorgeous Ruby AB finish rondelles. I love those. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's the 6th one? Is it in here? Did it roll off my... Oh, there it is. One of you was telling me it was in the other selection, and I'm sorry that I didn't hear you. All right, now we've got the 12 millimeter Direct. This is a big chonker bead. And is either red travertine or green travertine. And it looks like I got the red travertine. So we have the dark red glass under this travertine finish. So again, you've got a lot of texture just in this bead, in its finish and in its color. It's going to make for a great little focal. Alright, and now we've got two more of these bagged selections. I'm going to put them in the middle of that. One are these check glass flower beads. They're 15 millimeters in size and they are rose gold colored. It's like gold with a rose wash. 2 pieces. And these have a center drilled hole. So you've got the gold on one side and you've got the pink on the other. And that hole that goes right through the center of these beads. I think those would be fun to do as earrings. Yeah, I've got an idea for that, actually. Oh, that'll be fun. And then we've got some check glass ladybug beads. And I'm going to put it on my ladybug dish. Yay! Ladybugs! They're maroon color, and there are 10 of them. They're 8 millimeters in size. Look at these little ladybugs. All of the little ladybugs. That is super cute and I love that. Absolutely love it. Yay. Alright, let's take a last look at the dollar bead box and dollar bead bag for June 2025. Right here, all of these guys together. And you know, it might be a little bit Christmassy, but I think that that pink kind of lends it a little bit further away from that, as well as, you know, maybe light greens instead of like Kelly greens. Good way to separate that out. And I definitely think I love the color combinations of pink and green. It is one of my favorite color combinations. So I'm going to have a lot of fun putting these together, making something pretty. There's just a lot of really, really great things. I'm going to put a link in the description to Dollar Bead Box if you wanted to subscribe. I have a coupon that'll give you a little bit off of your first month subscription. And again, they have a great site for making purchases, getting any of these check glass beads for like $1. And they do have tool beads on sale this month, but you have to be a member in order to make a purchase. So I will leave those links in the description, and you know, look forward to some tutorials using these beads later this month. Until next time, happy beading.